Good evening, everyone. My name is Roger Moe, and I'm honored to be your Master of Ceremonies tonight. I'm also honored to be a 1966 graduate of Mayville State. Before it was Mayville State University, before there was the interstate, before a lot of things. But it's great to be here with so many longtime friends and to be a part of this program. I'm a little bit intimidated, however. I understand my longtime friend Marty Johnson was your MC for many years, and following him makes me a little bit nervous. I feel a little bit like Zsa Zsa Gabor's 8th husband. I know what to do, I just don't know if I can make it interesting. So, anyway, we're going to have dinner right away, and then we'll get into the program. I know my job is to move this along, so let's eat. Well, we'll get started with the exciting program for tonight. Before President and Mrs. Hagan, distinguished honorees, friends, it's wonderful to be here. And if you take a look at your directory, the program, this is a wonderful tradition that dates back to 1983. And if you take a look at the names that are listed there, those are the kind of the true icons of coaches here at this university. So let me first ask all of you who have been recognized and inducted into the Mayville State University Athletic Hall of Fame, those of you that have had that honor, please stand so we can recognize you. Everybody? A tradition that dates back to 2010, the Athletic Coaches Hall of Fame. Those of you that have been inducted, would you please rise so we can recognize you? Wonderful. Well, we'll begin the awards presentation. And let me just say, there's a disproportionate emphasis on baseball here. You can notice that there's a disproportionate emphasis on baseball. And being a former wrestler here, I'm particularly pleased that the coach that they're honoring is a wrestling coach. So, and the difference between wrestling as a wrestler and as a coach, when you wrestled one match. When you coached, you wrestled a dozen. And so I can't imagine how many matches the coach has wrestled over his many years of coaching. Nick Storhaug was a wrestling coach at Lisbon, North Dakota High School from 1974 to 1992. Fabulous record. He coached teams to 2 state championships and had a 217-21 dual meet record. That's got to be one of the best, if not the best in the state. He coached 22 state champions and 80 additional state place winners. Nick is a certified public accountant who owns his accounting firm in Lisbon. He has been extremely involved in his community, and he also serves on the MSU Foundation Board of Directors. He and his wife, Levon, are the parents of 2 sons that are Minnesotans, I want to add. So let's honor Nick Storhaug.
Roger, thank you very much for that introduction. I probably look tonight like I've wrestled 6,000 matches too. But quite literally, this is a great honor. This is a great university. I'm very meek. I'm very modest about accepting this because Mayville State is a Hall of Fame educational and coaching university. Beth Swinson asked a couple of falls ago about speaking at the graduation ceremony. And I had to think about that for about 6 months to really closely examine, what is it about Mayville State that makes it so special. I think when you graduate from here, you have both feet on the ground and you learn the 3 R's. One of them is to be responsible. You're responsible because you're going to a small college, and you're responsible to go to class every day, and you're responsible to learn. So when you do graduate, you're well-founded, and you're going to expect the people around you to be responsible as you are going to be responsible. I've seen so many coaches that are tremendous, tremendous athletes, and some of them make tremendous, tremendous coaches, but oftentimes they fail because great athletes sometimes live in this cocoon where they're insulated from the real world. Mayville State, you are responsible. You also learn respect here. Lonnie and I, Lonnie will meet tonight. We are just visiting here. We share a common friend in Al Meyer. Al Meyer taught you respect. When you go into the classroom or when you go anywhere in charge of people, young people, old people, anybody today, they aren't going to give you respect. You're going to earn it. And you must earn it as a teacher, and you must earn it as a coach. So you learn respect. You also learn relationships. And if you're going to be a successful coach, you better know a little bit about the team or those individuals that you're in charge of, enough so that you can make a difference in their life. And teachers and coaches, oftentimes, you're the best part of these young people's lives. We have so many people out there that are searching for leaders in their lives. They're searching for a positive role model that used to exist around the kitchen and supper table. It no longer is there oftentimes. So we are the role models. And take that responsibility and take it wisely. And do your very best. I was asked by Beth to have some additional tickets tonight. I don't have a whole lot of family here, but my family is very, very proud. My mother and father are deceased. They both graduated from the 8th grade, and they're not here, but I love them dearly, and they love coming to Mayville. And wouldn't you know it, here we have someone that we know and love, Stan Dawkins, sitting up here. My parents loved you, Stan. They love Mayville State, and thank you very much. I also have a mother and father-in-law who lived in Grafton, North Dakota, and they love Mayville State as well. And finally, what every good coach needs is a good spouse, and my wife LaVon is here. We met not too awfully far away from here, and so we've been together for 44 years. So thank you all.
The next honoree is the 1988 baseball team. This was the first Comet baseball team to win 30 games in a season, finishing with a record of 30 wins, 9 losses. They defeated Kearney State in one of the greatest come-from-behind wins in Mayville State history when they played in the NAIA Area 3 tournament after winning the conference. Comets back then were coached by Coach Berry, who was assisted by David Wheeler, and I believe Coach Berry is going to accept on behalf of the team. Coach Berry.
Thank you, Roger. I really appreciate it. And it's really, really nice to have you here with us. I know you did mention that it was going to be difficult to replace Marty as the MC. Actually, I thought you were leading into, you were much more relaxed because it wasn't going to be difficult to follow Martin Johnson as our MC. But you really gave him quite a tribute. Doctor, I know we're a long way away, and you're smiling because you know that if you were closer, I wouldn't be saying these things. So the distance between us makes a huge difference. But Dr. Johnson is a legend around here and I'm eternally grateful because he gave me an opportunity to coach at Mayville State, and it is 37 years later, and I'm still here, and I thank you for that. Amongst all the great things that you did, we give you a tremendous tribute as well. The MC part I'm not so sure about. Maybe Roger is going to replace you easily, but we will thank you for all the contributions you made over the years. Please bear with me because I'm supposed to talk about the 1988 team, and Beth said I only had 25 minutes to do that. So I will speed things up here a little bit. But first of all, I can't tell you how special this night is. I've been very fortunate to have enjoyed so many great moments at Mayville State. I'm a very blessed man. To stand here and think that my former teammate and comrade, Lonnie Thomas, is going into the Hall of Fame is just such a tremendous, tremendous thing, and I'm so happy for you. And it's so great to have you back, and I'm just delighted that you are entering this absolutely fabulous and prestigious Hall of Fame. So congrats to you. Stuart Gilman is being honored this evening, and Stu was on the first teams that I ever coached. Stu was a sophomore when I was an assistant for Al his last year, and I coached him his last 2 years. And it was a tremendous thrill and honor to be able to do that. And I'm so delighted that you are entering this Hall of Fame. Having seen Missy, Sharby, as many of you know her, and Nightmare. I always knew you as Neil because I was scared of Nightmare. To see you being honored this evening is just tremendous, and it's so well deserved and so well earned. This isn't something where you enter it because of happenstance. It's something that's well earned. I'm extremely delighted to see one of my mentors, CL Chuck Gremmels, who helped us win the state championship in 1971 in the Class B American Legion Baseball. Eternally grateful. He was also my student teaching advisor. I thank you so very much for that. I don't know how I passed, but I thank you for that, and I won't ask any more questions. David Knowles, working with you those years was a tremendous honor, and again, I thank you for that. There's so many people here that I'd love to draw attention to. Far too many, but it is, I guess I'm pointing out to you that it is a very, very special night for me, and I'm extremely delighted. The 1988 team, it's a long time ago. It's almost 30 years. But I'll tell you this much. It is, people ask me, 88 is a long time ago. What qualifies them to be a Comets Hall of Fame baseball team? Let me just give you a couple of instances, and I know some of them were mentioned, but I do want to mention a few things. Number one, they won. They were the first college team in North Dakota college baseball history to win 30 games. Now, that doesn't seem like a whole lot now, but back then, it was really quite a story. Secondly, they deserve to be in this Hall of Fame because they were exceptional at winning championships. They won the regular season championship. They won the district playoff championship. We went undefeated during the regular season conference. We never lost a game to one of our conference foes. So that in and of itself, as coaches, we know how difficult that is. The losses. We lost 9 games that year. 4 of them were in Oklahoma against some of the top teams in the country. 2 of them were in the Area 3 National Playoff Tournament against 2 of the top teams in the country. We happened to slip up against Bemidji, Concordia, and UND one game, but then against UND we 10-run ruled them 3 other times. So we made up for that hiccup. The loss we had was 2-1. 4 of our players are currently, 4 of the players on this team are in the Hall of Fame already. 4 of the players that we have in that team play professional baseball. 5 of the players on that team hit over 400. including Jamie Hoffner, who hit over 500. But Jamie, we are still extremely disappointed that you struck out with the bases loaded in the 1918 win in Kearney, Nebraska. One of 5 strikeouts for that entire season, but we will forgive you. Yeah, nobody remembers that. But he merely hit .519 and 62 RBIs and all of that sort of good stuff during the course of the year. But I don't know. I don't know what happened. He threw you a strike or something. We had 2 of our top pitchers. It was noted in there were 18-1. And before the night's over, I'm going to get to the bottom of this. Who was the guy that lost that game? Fred? Cam? I'm going to find that out. We're going to make sure that we get that all settled. Our team batting average for that year was over 365. Think about that. Over 365. We have an outstanding defensive team. Our shortstop made 8 errors, which is incomprehensible. Our third baseman made more errors than he did, and that's why he didn't attend this evening. Joey Mutchison from Washington. I was a little bit embarrassed, but we forgive. We forgive. We love him anyway, and that's the way it works. But we had an exceptional team, exceptional players, and forgive me for not mentioning other names. I just had to poke at Jamie a little bit, some of the other guys. What a phenomenal group. And if you want to hang out with us afterwards, I'll tell you all kinds of stories about each and every one of them. They will thank me eternally for keeping them out of jail and helping them to get their degree. I'm still waiting for thank yous, but maybe by the end of the night we'll get to that point. But what a great group. As their coach, I'm extremely proud of them. As Mayville State guys, as Comets, it's not just winning championships, it's not just winning games, but it's to see the success that they have had moving forward. That for me is the true delight, to see them be successful in their careers, to be great parents, to be great husbands, to be great fathers, uncles, and so on and so forth. So to me, that is what truly makes them a Hall of Fame team, along with the talents that they exemplified on the playing field. We had, as was mentioned, probably, Myrna, you helped me out, as exciting and momentous a playoff game on the national playoff level that any program team has had here at Mayville State. We won a game 19-18 at the national playoffs. We were 10 runs. We scored 10 runs with 2 outs in the 8th inning. And believe it or not, they came back to tie us in the top of the 9th with a home run. The next batter hit a ball 1 foot from the top of the fence from going off. We picked him off at second base, which was the first player we picked off all season. And Dennis Reedy leads off the bottom of the 9th with a home run to win the game. So when you see that picture, that's the gathering at home plate congratulating Dennis Reedy. You could see me trailing behind because I was still in shock. My head was hidden, and Coach Wheeler was the guy responsible for making sure that all happened. So I'd like to take credit, but I was kind of hiding behind the scenes there as things were happening. Nevertheless, I'm blessed to be a part of this Hall of Fame team. I give you credit for everything that happened. You are well deserved, and I'm just delighted for you being honored tonight in this fashion. So thank you very much.
Congratulations to the baseball team. Coach Berry told me a fact that I think is profound. Between Al Meyer and Coach Berry, there are 80 consecutive years of coaching baseball. And 70. That kind of continuity is what makes a program, so congratulations. I noticed, though, the coach is suffering from MSU baseball Alzheimer's. He forgets everything except the errors and the strikeouts. I noticed that. You'll notice on your program tonight as well something that's kind of interesting. The Hall of Fame Selection Committee, and you take a look at it. It's kind of interesting that in the 40s there's only men, 50s men, 60s men, finally in the 70s with Title IX, the other half got to participate in athletics. And so tonight we're honoring Missy Charboneau-Folch, Charby, as she is known, played basketball and fast pitch softball for the Comets, an all-conference player in basketball. She was the 6th player in school history to score more than 1,000 points. After graduating from Mayville State, she has continued her passion for sports as a runner, as well as playing basketball and slow pitch softball. She's also coached volleyball, basketball, and softball at the high school level. Missy is a health and physical education teacher at Coon Rapids Middle School. She and her wife Angie live in Otsego, Minnesota. If you don't know where that is, a couple of years ago it wasn't on the map, and today I think the population's 50,000. It's right on the edge of the Twin Cities. And they have 2 dogs. So let's honor Charby, please.
Roger, thank you for that introduction. I apologize right away if my voice is hoarse. I was at the Lynx championship game holding up the MVP sign, so I was on TV a few times, so I apologize. That was quite an exciting championship for the Lynx. So, wow, what an incredible honor to be here tonight and being among this elite group of people selected in the Mayville State Athletic Hall of Fame. I want to thank the president of the university, Gary, for this, and the selection committee, and especially Coach G, Chuck Gremmels, for nominating me for this prestigious award. When I received the letter that I was chosen for the Hall of Fame, I immediately became emotional. The flood of memories of how this journey of basketball began. All of the time commitment, hard work, sweat, tears, and most of all, heart. The love for the game of basketball has been my whole life. There are a few people I need to credit for all of the success that I have achieved. My earliest memory of basketball is watching my sister, Michelle. She was 4 years older than me, and she played on a traveling basketball team. My parents and I went to all of her games, and I just loved watching Michelle play basketball. She would always challenge me to one-on-one in the driveway, and she beat me every single time. That's what instilled my competitive nature in me. As tough as I was on the court, my sister Michelle was tougher. She battled cancer 3 times and never once let the disease beat her spirit. Unfortunately, we lost Michelle in November of 2014. She's only 39 years old. Michelle, I know you're smiling down on me here tonight, and that I want you to know that you had a huge part in why I'm standing up tonight. I started playing organized basketball in 3rd grade and loved every minute of it. Traveling basketball started in 5th grade, and it made the Coon Rapids girls 18. I played on the same team until my 8th grade year. That year, I was cut from the A team and placed on the B team instead. I was hurt that I didn't make the A team and that I've been on with all my friends. I cried and cried that whole day. I could have quit right then and there because I didn't think I was good enough. But instead, I decided to play on that B team, and I made a decision that day that I was going to work harder than anyone else on that team. I put in hours and hours of practice every day shooting in my driveway, putting up cones for dribbling drills, and signed up for an AA summer team. The following year, I tried out for the final season of traveling basketball, and I made it back up to that A team. The next person I need to thank is Coach James Taylor, JT, as we call him. I had the choice in 10th grade to play up on the varsity team that year and have limited playing time. Or I could play on JT's 10th grade team and be his starting point guard. I chose to play on the 10th grade team, and I'm so glad I did. JT pushed me to be the best and developed me as a player. He influenced my life, and that's why I went into teaching. JT is a high school FIA teacher and still coaches basketball and football today. When I started teaching, he hired me to coach on his staff, and I did for 3 years. I invited JT to be here tonight, but he is also a high school football coach, and it's game night. My senior year in high school, our team had a great run, and we advanced to the state basketball tournament. There were 9 of us seniors on the team. The past August, I had my 20th high school reunion, and all but one of my teammates attended. It was so much fun to reminisce about all of our accomplishments, but most of all, what the game of basketball did for all of us. We are a family, and I will always be so grateful for this game that brought us together. I thank these ladies for all they contributed to my experience. After high school, I was recruited to play basketball and softball for Mayville State University. At the end of my freshman year of college, I just did not feel that that school was the right fit for me. One of my high school teammates played here at Mayville State, and she said that I would love it here. So I contacted Coach Cheddar, and he invited me to do a campus visit, and I played a scrimmage game with the basketball team. The team was very welcoming, and I decided to transfer here to Mayville State. This was one of the best decisions of my entire life. It is here that I met my favorite coach of all time, Coach G. Could you please stand up, Coach? He's in the house tonight. 57 years of teaching, right there. I want to thank you again for nominating me for this wonderful award. You have had the best basketball mind of any coach I've ever met or have had. You instilled values of hard work, yet you always would make us laugh during practices. For example, we would be on the court and he'd be like, your tentacles need to be out. And your head needs to be on a swivel. Like, tentacles? And then he's like, your arms. And then he'd be out there on the court demonstrating and then foaming at the mouth. You need to steal that basketball. So just his energy for the game was amazing. Excuse me. You have taught me that hustle matters more than points. And I used your hustle chart when I coached. Coach G, I want you to know that you have had a huge impact on my life. There were times at college that I wanted to quit because I thought school was too hard for me. But you always believed in me and would give me some of your words of wisdom. Thanks to you, not only did I excel on the court, but you also helped me earn my degree. Coach G, it's been great staying in touch with you and Ann over the years. You always make my day when I hear from the both of you. You truly are an amazing man, and I cannot thank you enough for all you've done. I want to give a special thanks to my mom and dad, flying in from Arizona to be here tonight. Thanks for all the time and money you spent on me over the years, taking me to all my practices, watching all my games, including out-of-state tournaments and traveling to college games, and for being my constant cheer section. I cannot thank you enough, and I love both of you so much. To my aunts Judy and Cheryl, thanks for being here tonight, and thanks for always going to all of my games, both traveling basketball and every single one of my high school games. Aunt Judy, I can still hear you when I'm on the free throw line saying, up and in! Thanks to the both of you for being a huge part of my life, and I love both of you so much. To all my teammates, they're all in the back there. Whether on the basketball court or on the softball diamond, you have made me a better player. A special thanks to Heather Mott, Andy Burris-Thompson, Mel Perry Van Solen, and all of my basketball teammates. This honor I share with all of you. I'm sorry for all the hard picks and my aggressiveness and all that energy in practice. We had so many fun memories on and off the court. We two are like family, and when I see you, it's like time stands still. Thanks to all of my teammates, family, and friends here tonight. Your support means more than words can express. I want to close tonight by thanking the most important person in my life, and that is my wife, Angie. Although you didn't get to see me play in college, you are my biggest fan in life. Thank you for all of your love and support that you give me every single day. You're my world, and if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be the person I am today. Thank you.
Congratulations. Our next honoree is Stuart Gilman. Stu was a 4-year starter on the Comets baseball team. He was an all-conference and all-district player and was the team captain for the Comets. After leaving college, Stu played competitive baseball until he was 40 years old. He retired to cleats and gloves in 2001 to begin his coaching career in hockey and baseball with his kids. He is Director of Business Development for Enerchem International, a Canadian petroleum of oil field chemicals and jet fuels. He and his wife Diane are the parents of 2 sons and a daughter, and they live in Calgary, Alberta. Congratulations, Stu.
Thank you, Roger. Thank you, Gary. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and fellow Mayville Comets. I'm extremely honored to receive this award tonight. I would like to especially thank the Hall of Fame Induction Committee for their acknowledgement of my contribution to the Mayville State athletic program. I'm truly excited to be back in Mayville after all these years. I think it's been about 30 years since I've been back, so it's really nice. When I first saw the letter from the alumni office, I assumed that they were looking for a donation or trying to sell me some raffle tickets for a hunting rifle, or sell me a foursome in R.V. McMillan's golf tournament, or convince me to leave my tiny estate to the college. After opening the letter, I realized that, well, after reading it, I thought, well, it had to be a joke, and that some old college buddy had stolen some letterhead and was trying to trick me into believing that I had been inducted. But then I thought about my college buddies, and I realized that none of them were smart enough to write a letter this time. And so it had to be true. My next thought was, maybe the crop of potential inductees must have been extremely thin this year. No offense to my fellow inductees. After all those feelings were exhausted, I called Beth, and she confirmed that it was in fact true. And I hung up the phone and I started to cry, actually, and I phoned my wife, who was out of town at the time, and she didn't believe it either. So, anyway, there's so many people that I need to thank for receiving this honor, and I'd like to mention just a few. I was very fortunate to play for Al Meyer, the legendary coach. For those of you who may remember, when I got here, Al recruited me, and I got here in 1980. We had a coach by the name of Pierre Ducharme, and Pierre Ducharme deserted us halfway through the season and took a job somewhere else. So Al came back out of retirement and blessed us with his gift of coaching. And for any of you that have played for Al, it was truly an honor. He was just an awesome guy. And I got to play for Scott, who was at that time, he was the assistant coach. So didn't really have the respect for him that year that I would the next. But he was one of the guys back then. And the next year he was no longer one of the guys. Secondly, I want to thank Scott Berry. I played for Scott, as he said, in his first season, and now 37 years later, he's a true icon for coaching. And I know he's gone through a lot of changes in his coaching style. I remember I kind of kept up to some of the stuff. I remember he had the kids wearing full face masks for a while. I don't know, do they still do that? No? I'm glad I wasn't around for that, because my hair wouldn't have fit in that. A few others I'd like to mention. Marty Johnson was a true mentor for all the athletes, and I remember he was always in the weight room. Not that I was ever there, but he was always in there working out, and it was just so impressive. And all the football players were always pumping iron with him, and the baseball players would kind of go, "Nah, I don't think so." But he was in such good shape, and I just remember thinking to myself, man, when I get to be that age, I'll never look like that. But he was truly inspiring. Bob Brown, another person that I remember quite well. He was a true friend to all the athletes, and he was a respected member of the community, and just a great person. And he also put me back together one time when my shoulder popped out in a game. He heard a lot of strange words from me that day that I'm sure he hadn't heard before. Others that made a big positive impact on my life was Terry Kemmer. Terry was a true inspirational teacher and a real driver. He was really quite anal as well, but he never let things slip, and I think because of Terry, I became a better business person for it. So thank you, Terry. And Linda Beyer. Linda, she made business cool and fun, and she made it fun to come to class. I used to skip Terry's class every now and then, but never Linda's. I owe a great deal of gratitude to both of them. And the last person I want to thank is Stanley Dawkin. He made me realize that life is precious and that all people can be kind and friendly. Stan treated everybody the same no matter who they were or what they did. And I remember coming back to Mayville probably 5 or 6 years after I graduated, and I ran into Stan at Stoop's bar. And he was speaking to me like he knew who I was. And I said to him, I said, Stan, do you actually know who I am? And he said, yeah, you're that crazy Canadian. So I knew at that time that he did remember me. And it's so good to see you here today, Stan. It's just awesome. Probably the most important people in my life were the Olsen family from Hillsborough. And I'd like them to raise their hands. They came tonight to the dinner, which is just awesome. So my first roommate at Agassiz Hall was Jim Olsen, one of their 46 children. And his parents, Ed and Marlis, took me into their home and treated me like one of their own children. Marlis fed me for 4 years, and Ed taught me how to make the winters more bearable by teaching me how to ice fish and how to use a salt bag as a quick and easy bathroom. I'd like to thank some teammates. I had some great teammates, and many of these guys, some of you will remember, but I just want to list a few. Dean Ekstead, Bill Kinley, Mike Berry, Dave Wolf, Morgan DePena, Jerry McLean, Jeff Holt, Jay Friedland, Wayne Hogan, and Chip McAllister. They all played a huge part in my success and my enjoyment at Mayville. I'm almost done here. Mayville was a complete culture shock for me. I grew up in Los Angeles and Winnipeg. Came to Mayville as a street-smart kid who liked to play baseball. I was put in a 6-by-10-foot cell they called Agassiz Hall. I was extremely lonely the first few months and actually considered going home. Once the fall season started and I put my cleats and glove on, I finally felt like I belonged. I was totally comfortable and confident on the ball diamond, and that made everything else okay. I was very fortunate to start as a freshman and played 4 great years of Comet baseball. We had some great teams, had some good times along the way, and my Mayville experience is a huge part of who I am today, so thank you all for that. Finally, I'd like to thank my parents, who were a huge part of my career. If it weren't for them, I wouldn't be here today. My mother was planning to make the trip down here, but canceled at the last minute today, actually. So my dad is here in spirit. He would have been very proud. I'd also like to thank my wife, Diane, for putting up with me for the past 30 years and for coming down this weekend to make sure I didn't get in any trouble. Thanks again to all of you, and I look forward to catching up with many of you over the weekend. Go Comets.
Congratulations, Stu. Hey. My daughter works for Enbridge, but not up there in Duluth. So, next honoree is a neighbor of mine up in northwestern Minnesota. If you live there, you're considered a neighbor because that's just how it is. Neil Steffes. Neil was a letter winner and all-conference player for the Comets net basketball team. After graduating from Mayville State, he was hired at Fertile Beltrami High School, where he continues to teach grades 7 through 12 social studies, psychology, and sociology. He's also the head boys basketball coach, assistant football coach, and junior high track coach. He has coached his basketball teams to almost 400 wins and taken teams to the state tournament 3 times, earning second place in the state of Minnesota in 1996. He and his wife Bridget are the parents of 2 daughters and a son. Congratulations, Neil.
Thank you. I'll get us back on track here. As most of you, I see a lot of you from when I was in school. You know that I'm kind of a shy, loner type person. Right, Todd? First of all, I'd just like to thank Mayville State University for this honor, the Hall of Fame committee for choosing me for this. And I'd also like to thank Coach David Knowles for nominating me. Mayville State was a great time for me. It gave me a lot of opportunities. There's a lot of other people I could thank. Chuck Gremmels out there, was a great mentor in Phi Ed, sometimes a little too aggressive, but Marty Johnson, Mike Moore, just a lot of people that played a big part in my time here. As far as other people I'd like to thank, first of all, I'd like to thank Coach Knowles and our assistant coach, Mick Larock, are here today, and very grateful that they are. One of the things is that they gave me an opportunity. I came here in 1987 as a freshman. Todd probably remembers. He probably looked at me and said, "What's this guy doing on the basketball team?" I think I remember that. And my first year here, I redshirted. My second year, I didn't play at all. I was actually a 6'3", 155-pound backup center. And in my redshirt sophomore year, we were playing Bemidji State, I believe, and we had started the season 0-5, and we were going nowhere fast, and we were getting beat by Bemidji. And at halftime, I remember Mick and Coach talking, and they said, "We need to change something." And I said, "Well, what do we do?" And Mick goes, "Well, I think Neil, he played point guard in college. Let's throw him out there and let him play." They told me that at halftime, and I thought, well, what are we doing here? And at that point, we went out and played. We actually lost the game. The next night, Coach told me, "You're starting the next game." I said, "Okay." And from that point on, I would say it went pretty good. After that point, we lost the next game, but I think we won 19 more games in a row after that. We would win the conference championship going undefeated. I believe it was the first team that went undefeated in the conference. And then after that, for the next 2 years, we would go on to have probably one of the best runs in Mayville State basketball program's history. And a lot of that had to do with a lot of the players and coaches. The second group I'd like to thank is all the players that I had the opportunity to play with. I was fortunate enough to play with a lot of great players, a lot of very good people. Two of them, Todd Olson, who's here tonight, if you want to stand, Todd. He was one of the best players that I played with. Cedric Witherspoon, both of them are in the Hall of Fame, two of the most prolific scorers. That's maybe why I'm here, because they made a lot of baskets that I gave them the ball to. And the other one is Wade Grindy, who I played with as well, who was a great scorer also. And the great thing about our teams, and some of you who saw us play, was that it was an actual team. We played very well together. We had a lot of guys that were good players. They knew their roles. I think we made each other better. And, we did what was needed to win. Nobody cared who got the credit. And I think that's what made us very, very successful. I think, Scott, with your teams, baseball teams, you could attest to that that's what makes teams very good. It's the people you play with and willing to sacrifice and do what is needed. So I really appreciate all the players I played with. And then finally, I'd like to thank my parents who are here tonight for all the support for my years in Mayville. They came to all the games, even when I had a brother play for Valley City State, which was unfortunate. Although I don't think they ever beat us, if I'm correct. But especially I have to thank them for my first 2 years here, where it was pretty tough because, coming out of high school, you think you're really good, and you get here and you get reality check, and you don't play, and things aren't going maybe as good as you think they are. They kept encouraging me, and in the end, it worked out pretty well. And then, again, I just want to thank Mayville State for all the great opportunities, the experiences, and lessons that I learned in my 5 years as a Comet. As I said, it's some of the best times of my life. And all those things have been invaluable to me as a teacher, as a coach, as a family man. And so for that, I'm very grateful to the university. And I also, again, like to thank you for the honor that I'm receiving tonight. Thank you.
Congratulations, neighbor. The last, but certainly not the least, of the awardees for the Athletic Hall of Fame is Lonnie Thomas. or LT as he is affectionately known. He was a pitcher for the Comets baseball team. He also played football for a year. He has played baseball for pretty much his whole life, starting out at Rowlett, North Dakota, then Mayville State, and has just recently retired from baseball, having participated in the men's senior baseball league for many years. He has 4 national title rings with teams from the Washington, D.C. area. Lonnie is a budget analyst with the Federal Government Department of Interior, Central Office Budget Division for Indian Affairs located in Washington, D.C. He and his wife Judith are the parents of 3 children and live in Rockville, Maryland. LT, congratulations.
Thank you, Roger, and thank you everybody for being here. And I'm a little more shyer than the rest of us. And I'd like to borrow your speech. That was really good. But all the qualities acts is just something. But this was a great school, and it's a privilege being here. With all that being said, I'd like to take like 10 seconds of silence for a past roommate of mine, Terry Stratton, fellow inductee. Put him in your hearts. Yes, he was a good person. That being said, since I am from Washington, I'm a Nationals fan, and the score is 0-0 fourth. Saying, I came by here on Monday and I visited Scott, and I noticed the big comet up there. Have you all seen that on the stage in the auditorium? You need to take a picture of that. That was a comet. And following all these statistics, Beth, I want to rewrite my bio and get all my stats from Rowlett High School to pad it up a little bit, because I was a comet. Rowlett is Rowlett Comets. There was a reason I came. Does Mankato find it right here? Because it was a comet. It's the reason I came. So I'm not a real big speaker, but I just wanted to mention some people while I was here. Renee Thompson, bless her soul, she worked for Bob Brown, and as Marty could attest, I guess I was probably in that training room with her left and right. She was rubbing me down all the time, and I said, get right up into those muscles, because those are the ones that work for me, okay? You know? It's not that mountain that does it. So, I had the privilege of playing with a lot of people in my life, and before I move on to whatever, I want to give a presentation to, I have one of my high school coaches here, because I would never have been the baseball player I am, or turned out to be, other than growing up in a family of boys, and my dad, my brothers, and my oldest brother Lester's here. Stand up real quick. He brought the textbook here. He was a senior, and he brought home the catcher's equipment and all that, and threw dirt balls at me. That's how I learned baseball. So, and we played baseball, whatever sport it was in, with 6 boys in and out, and I imagine Scott must have did the same. He came from a bigger family than me, 10, right? Yep. So, and you can speak up. I mean, we went to school. I mean, we were here together. We played together. Remember? Yeah. Well, there's a story about Scott about why he got to DH and then the rest of us didn't. He couldn't juggle. Because if you were a pitcher on the Al Myers team, you had to learn how to juggle in your spare time. Right? That's a true story. Yeah, so, Al Meyer, I want to mention him. I swear I hardly ever had any words with that man. All he ever did was, you're pitching. Is the ball. That's just the respect I had for him, and he had for me, and we just got along very well that way. And when I was here on Monday, I was taking a tour around the fuel house. And Marty, I don't know when you guys did this, but I was telling Scott, Scott, I must have the record for the most laps around this field house. Because if a student takes college, and I wondered what people did on the weekends if you didn't go home. Well, I became a gym rat. So I built up my legs, running all that. But you guys built a wall over there now. I guess my record will stand. So anyway, I'm a conglomeration of a lot of things. My brother, my family, my mom, my dad, I love them all to death. But I want to acknowledge Rolette High School. I had Beth make me an extra plaque. And I would like to present it to my high school baseball coach, Merle Bushy, who will present it to his high school. Merle. Merle is a graduate of Mayville. And with that, I think I will end this and make this shorten it up. Roger, again, thank you for having me. Thank you to the board, everyone, all fellow inductees. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Lonnie. And now we have a special Distinguished Service Award. And this award goes to Gwen Shaffer. Gwen has been an extra special friend of the athletes of Mayville State. Because of her hospitality, Mayville State has become a true home away from home for many student athletes and their families. Gwen has made it possible for her brother, Stan the man, Dokken, to continue to be the Comet's #1 fan, and for that we are all very, very grateful. Congratulations, Gwen Shaffer.
Well, I'm not a speaker, first of all, but I want to thank everyone for tonight, for this special award for Mayville State. Next, I want to thank all my members of my family, which is these two tables, and all of my friends. A special thanks to our chauffeurs, Ross Allman. Could you stand? Eric Schultzman, who's in town but not here, and Alex Herman. They want to stand and Jamerna. Jamerna and Norman Lane. Family, and with whom we have worked together as a team ever since. Big thank you. And we traveled a lot out of town beings, and we want to thank my brother Stan for keeping us safe by riding shotgun. Thank you.
Let's hear it for Gwen again. Gwen, I'm very, very happy for you, and I have to apologize. Beth informed me after I talked about the 88 team that tonight wasn't all about me. I thought it was all about me tonight, but Beth said it wasn't. So I have to come and do a do-over and introduce the 88 team because they have a special honor and award here that they're supposed to receive tonight from our president. And I apologize for that. You have to understand, I grew up in a family of 10 kids and I didn't get enough attention, and I just thought it was just all about me, and I messed up a little bit, so I'm sorry. But I would like to introduce the 88 team members so you can all see them. They are the reason why we're here. And as I read your name, please come up, accept your award from Dr. Hagan, and please remain standing up here so people can get a good look at you. In alphabetical order, Cam Bieberdorf. Kevin Booker. Sean Corey. Wayne Curry. Paul Hansen. I'm not even going to ask. Jamie Hoffner. Mike Holness. Fred Matsubera. Gary Powell. Dennis Reedy. Jim Roldson. And Scott Wetter. There are a few members of this team that could not make it this evening. We're sorry about that, but we are thinking about you, as I'm sure they're thinking about us at this moment. But again, thank you very, very much.
Again, congratulations to the baseball team. We're now going to have greetings from the university, from President Hagan. He has announced his retirement, but the tenure for a college president in this country is probably about 4 or 5 years, and he's gone about 5 times that, so that's just done an outstanding job. And by the way, I'm a trustee on the Minnesota State College and University Board, and we have about 5 presidencies open, in case you don't want to retire. President Hagan.
Well, on behalf of the entire campus, welcome to Homecoming 2017. Now I got to ratchet everybody away from athletics to academics. Not easy. So hang in there, give me a couple of minutes, because it is homecoming and welcome home, and it's nice to have friends and family and alumni here. Congratulations again to this year's inductees. Well done, well deserved. All of you guys, good job. We're all very proud of you. Congratulations to Gwen again on your award. This is a very special honor for a very special Comet band, and we're certainly glad we could do this. But all of your names will now be part of Mayville State's permanent history. So it's very much an honor. Okay, and tomorrow we'll honor Performing Arts Hall of Famers, including Carolyn Brown, Robert Gust, Dr. Joseph Hegstead, and David White Thunder Trottier. So, no, not tomorrow, Sunday, at the music contest. About 2 o'clock, I believe. Be there if you can. And I also want to thank Roger Moe for coming back to Mayville State, being our MC. That was very nice. So like I said, it is homecoming, and my task as president is to bring everyone up to speed with regards to what's happening at Mayville State University. And I think it's fair to say we're enjoying very good, maybe unprecedented success at Mayville State University. We've really been on a mission in the last 11, 12 years to make our campus more intellectually challenging, financially healthy, larger, and to create a state-of-the-art facility where students will really want to come here and learn. And we're serving 1,140 students this fall. Now, for perspective, I've been at this, like Roger said, for 12 years, this particular job. And that fall, as you recall, we hit the big number of 659 total students. So 1,140 now, a few years later, is quite a tribute to our faculty and staff and all the people that have to do the work and make things happen and make me look good in the process. So I have to be very grateful to all of them. So we're also being recognized nationally off and on. We've had a lot of national recognitions the last 6 years or so, but we've been named to the U.S. News and World Report's Best Regional College list again this year, 4th best in the nation. They didn't quite get it right. We should have been first, but we'll correct that next year. Past couple of years, we made the best Midwestern colleges as named by the Princeton Review. We were also named the Affordable Schools list. We were one of the 30 most attractive yet affordable college campuses in the nation. And we worked really hard to clean our campus up and make it state-of-the-art and nice, so we're proud of that. They didn't say we're in the top 30 we are, so we're probably closer to 1 than 30, maybe. But we were also named to the 2015-16 U.S. News and World Report's list of the best online bachelor's program as well. So I think, again, that speaks really hard to the people on this campus who come to work every day, roll up their sleeves, and get it done in a big way. There's 50 states, and when we get singled out for being the 4th of this and 5th that, whatever, in the nation, job well done. But I hope you'll walk around the campus. We have in the last 9 years, we've made over $30 million with improvements to the campus. If it's not new, it's probably been gutted and fixed totally inside. So please, take a look. And if you haven't been in the campus for 10 years or so, you might not be sure you're on the right campus, because it's going to look a little different. But today's students like facilities. It makes a difference to them. And we're providing that. Our rapidly changing society and our mission has necessitated different types of space, remote sites. We're all over the state in different cities, and the addition of extensive technology. So we've moved aggressively to give our students the best tools available and provide a campus that they can be proud of, and consequently the best education they can get. Academically, we now offer LPN, RN nursing degrees as well as a new 4-year nursing program. We've also received approval, as maybe some of you know, to offer our first master's degree, Master of Arts degree in education. So we keep expanding and pushing the envelope. We continue to broaden our campus experiences in many ways. My wife Debbie and I, it's my wife Debbie, she sits here every year for 42 years, nobody ever mentions her. So there she is. Give her a hand. That's why he's going to get her married. Oh, I'm in so much trouble right now. But we tried to shake things up a little bit, be a little more worldly as a campus. And last year we went to Norway with a group of Comet supporters, alumni and friends. And we had a great time. And we just got back from Italy this past month with another group of great Comet people. That was a lot of fun. And next year we're going to Alaska. So check the website if you're interested in Alaska. And on the way, as we travel, we've created foreign study and exchange programs. We have a permanent one in Moss, Norway, which is about 85 miles southeast of Oslo. So we've had students there. I think there's 5 completing paperwork this term to go, and another 5, I think, the following semester, something like that. We had 5 or 6 students study in Japan this summer and in Belize. So we're all over the world. In our online programs, the last bunch of years, we've had students from every state in the Union. We also have a new military honor garden. It's located at the Edson and Margaret Larson Alumni and Leadership Center. Just down the, if you went to the pre-service activities today, that's where it is. And it turned out to be something very special. Please take a few minutes and look that over as you're perusing the campus. But in summary, I hope you'll continue to follow the news about Mayville State University. Our campus is very much alive and we're operating at all-time record high levels on just about every aspect of campus. Our increases in enrollment, private fundraising, grant writing, employee and student satisfaction, many other major indicators of success continue to set campus records every year. So again, I can't thank our faculty and staff enough, the employees of Mayville State University. They get it done, and their efforts just don't stop. So congratulations once again to our inductees. You richly deserve this honor. Hope you have a great weekend, and go Comets!
Thank you, President Hagan. Again, congratulations to the inductees and to all the honorees for the outstanding achievements that you have presented here tonight, and to the campus, the leadership that you've provided, Mr. President, the faculty, staff, and the student body for the outstanding achievements that you have accomplished over these recent years. You have the agenda in your directory tonight, so you know there are other activities yet this evening, as well as the rest of the weekend. Again, congratulations to all. Good night.